And here we are again with another MiG-21bis. It's the Finnish version from the Ice and Fire update. It's a little bit of a copy-paste because, well, it's the exact same thing as we have in the Russian tech tree. No R60 MKs, no R60Ms, just regular old R60s. I'm running 4 of them together with 2 R13Ms. The R13Ms are, in my opinion, slightly better. They do not turn as well, they're not as maneuverable, but I think they're a little bit more reliable, better range, better flare resistance. Well, that second part at least, it feels that way. I can't really confirm nor deny it. Flares are still pretty strong against both of these, so most of the time 1 or 2 flares are probably going to defeat your missiles. Your gun, the GSH-23, is still there on the bottom, 250 rounds. Your radar, not exactly incredible, but it doesn't matter because you lack something very important, which is radar missiles. You definitely notice that this thing is not really meta anymore. A few years ago, this was one of the top dogs. Nowadays, you're kind of struggling to get kills. The real way to fly this thing, there is no real way to fly it. I like to just kind of sit back, orbital strike, go high, go over the people's radars, and then kind of turn in once the fights start developing. The issue with this is that very often you are simply going to be too late, because, well, these games last like 2 to 3 minutes, and very often if you come in too late, either your team is dead or their team is dead, so you're either gonna end up doing 1v8 or you're gonna end up with 0 kills. I'm not gonna turn with that FRE. Plenty of planes coming in, he's gonna be eaten up in a second. Before we really get started today, thank you to all my Patreons and to everyone looking to buy anything from the Guardian store. Feel free to use my discount link down below. What is it like to fly this thing? Well, it's a MiG-21bis. I think most of you guys are very much familiar with how it flies. Delta wing, very good acceleration. That is where the benefits end, however. It does turn decently well. The main issue is, of course, the speed bleed, because you are a delta wing. It does pull quite a bit of AOA, but again, that also will turn into losing a lot of speed very, very quickly. The rudder is kind of awkward. It's not horrible, it's not pathetic or anything, but it feels kind of awkward, together with the fact that the GSH-23 is an absolute fucking water pistol that shoots sulfuric acid. Sure, it hits extremely hard when you hit, but the arc on it is, it's basically a super soaker. It doesn't help that it's on the bottom of the plane, quite a bit back as well, so it's very annoying to lead, and you do need to get used to it. And you can see in this video today I'm gonna be missing quite a few shots. My aim isn't that consistent with this thing. I need to fly. This is one of those planes I actually need to fly for a few games before I actually get somewhat decent with it. And let me tell you, it is definitely not top dog. If you fly this thing absolutely perfectly, it is still not great. F-14s, MiG-23s, MiG-23 MLDs, and just a lot of stuff is just going to absolutely rinse you. And there's a lot of people flying the J7Es right now. And the J7E basically just counters you. You out accelerate it. And that's really where your advantages end. Sure, the NR30 is a little bit harder to use because it doesn't have that volume, but it does have more velocity. That's a little bit of a trade-off. I do think that the GSH-23 is a better gun for top tier. However, when I'm using a personally, I will take the NR30 because I can just aim it a little bit better. The missiles, the PL5Bs, I think are better than the R60s and the R13s. Of course, the trade-off is we have 6, he only has 4. The real kicker, however, is the wings on the J7E are just so much better. At low speed, it completely outturns you. At high speed, it holds much more speed, so it's going to be on your 6 with much more energy. And if he's not going to go full send into your nose, the chances of actually reversing him are extremely limited. You're probably not gonna have a very great time, and you can tell in the background that I'm simply just flying around. I'm looking for targets that are up high so I can start bouncing down below. And that's really, you cannot go into the thick of it. You do have countermeasures, you're kind of forced to run mixed on this. And with mixed you only have like 16 drops, which isn't that many. So I'm almost inclined to only use the IR ones, but I wish you could just pop them separately. The fact that I have to use my chaff for IR missiles and and flares for SRH missiles, or even the active homing ones, is a massive waste. And you might have heard it in the background there. There is another issue with dispatch. They absolutely fucked up the directional sound again. Nowadays, or today at least, I'm not sure if it's going to get fixed or not, it feels like missiles and planes and everything is about 2 kilometers away from where it actually is. So if you have speed of sound turned on, it is making it really difficult. If you are chasing someone and you're like 1.5 to 1 kilometer behind someone, it sounds like you're right up a steel pipe and you keep hearing these flyby sounds, and it keeps throwing me off at least, because I felt like I was constantly merging with people and I had no idea where people were. When I turn directional sound off, or the speed of sound off, it's in the option menu, and then all the way at the bottom it says like speed of sound or something like that. It's a slider, or whatever language you have the game in. Turn it off, it does improve it a little bit, but still I don't know what they keep doing with the sound, but they really, every patch it just gets worse. Now, after going towards the F-14 for a little bit, I decided to stay behind the mountains because I really don't feel like head-onning an F-14 above the waterline. So I'm gonna let him come to me. I'm gonna sit between him and the airfield, and I might be able to catch him off guard. I had a feeling he would see me. I could mask him a little bit more, but then I can lose track of him as well. So I'm gonna keep my eyes on him, just stay just above the mountains, hope that he doesn't see me, hope that he's going to continue with the trajectory that he has right now. And once we are kind of in between the mountains, I'm gonna turn for him and I'm gonna be cutting him off. I will be able to catch him if he's not really paying attention here. The thing is, I don't think he's afterburning. He might be low on fuel, he might be on mil power. He's still going pretty quick. Not quick enough, however, and we are going to catch him in due time. But of course, then the real fun begins. We have an F-14 that's in front of us, and he's gonna start turning right here. I'm gonna pull lead, but I'm compressing a little bit. I'm not able to get a shot in, and then I have to continue on straight for the F4F. And the reason I don't really mind going head on with this, it's a German variant, and he doesn't have radar missiles either. We shoot in the head on, we both break off, and I just want to see what they are doing. I know that there is one more enemy alive somewhere. I don't know where he is. I see that missile coming in, and I already know exactly how that is going to end. FGR goes down, and now we are 2v1 versus an F-14 as well as an F4F. The F4F doesn't really concern me that much. The F-14 does. I'm going to stay below the tree line, and then once he pops up over, I'm going to get the shot, and he needs to turn down to us to actually get the shot in. We predict where he's going to go, we set him on fire, and that's the F-14 out. And then we look up, and we just see an absolute ejaculation happening in the background. We dodge some of the Phoenixes. The F-14 is probably out of fuel, but he's going to collect one of the missiles of his friendly. Thank you for playing the game. The F4F is now flying in front of us. I'm just going to shoot a little bit. He breaks off to dodge the head-on. We pull back in, and down goes the F4F. The nice fire effect, guys. In the F-14 on the runway. He took off. He ejaculated his Phoenixes over the map, and he RTBs. And then he's going to land and leave. All he did was team kill one of his friends. Granted, he was already dead, but there you have it. Game number 1. Or at least the real game number 1. So, same deal here. We are at quite a bit of altitude, but this game there are no F-14s in the enemy team, which is a great opportunity to climb in a little bit more aggressively, and you are able to play it a little bit more aggressively once the MLDs as well as the F-14s are nowhere to be found. I notice an FRE loitering in the background. We queue up the R13M. We're gonna fire it at like 5 kilometers, and from this range, from this angle, that is 100% going to hit at this altitude, as long as he doesn't flare it. He does not. And Red Scout Sniper gets sniped from 5 kilometers, and that's going to be kill number 1. I can go for the Yak-38, but he is very clearly dead, so I'm not going to worry about him. I'm going to dive on this FRE directly below us. 90-degree top aspect shot. That is going to reach. All he needs to do is flare it. But, well, most people don't. When you shoot it from such an angle, very many people are not going to be seeing it. Looking straight up. Guilty of it myself. I don't do it very often either. When you look behind you, you mostly look up like 70, maybe 60 degrees. And then people that are directly above you are just kind of lost in the wayside. Especially if you are above everyone and there's no people spotting you. He won't even have a dot on the minimap. And even if he does, he's between all the ground emplacements, the AAA, the artillery, the AI planes as well. So the chances of him actually spotting us is absolutely minimal. So 2 R13s, 2 little kills. F5 is actually paying attention. He wasn't pre-flaring. English is hard. So I thought he wasn't actually paying attention to us, but he was. He flares it. I'm not going to worry about sitting on his 6. I'm going to break off to the other F5 and see if I can intercept him so he doesn't kill the guy that is going for the F5 right in front of us. I can go for the F5 here, but F8E coming in. And if he pulls up for that friendly of mine, well, he's going to show us a little bit of side profile. He is hot enough, and he's also going to catch a little missile. So where do we go now? We have an A10 on our left, and the A10s are actually kind of annoying. Not because they're amazing planes, but because the A10 has AIM-9Ls. And the AIM-9Ls versus this thing, well, let me tell you, you're going to need a little bit of all your flares and throttle dropping and some nice maneuvers to defeat those missiles. Very annoying from behind. But he's very slow. He was engaging someone else. We're going to dive on him. We're going to lead our shots. Squeeze the trigger. Good night. Back to the hangar you go. F5C in the background gets set on fire in the head-on. And we are going to go straight on into the next match. After finishing up this F4C. But I think you are getting a little bit of an idea on what it's like to fly this thing. You really just have to fly it like an absolute rat. So to speed up the process a little bit, I'm not going to be showing you the AFK parts anymore. I'm going to show you directly from when we start doing something. I think you're starting to get the idea. You need to position yourself well at the start. You need to make sure that you don't get cut off or shot down at the very moment you get spotted. Two guys directly below us. I wanted to go for the Mirage initially, but I kind of lost his heading. So I decided I'm going to go for the Su-22 since I'm already on the 6. I'm going to shoot the R13 off. And the Mirage is over there. He was just much quicker than I thought. He was so far back that I thought he might have been a late spawner or something. But I want to show you just how useless this thing can be. We get our early kill in. We shoot that guy down. And now we need to be aware of basically everyone that looks at us. I see the F-14 coming in. I'm going to notch prematurely. Missile isn't able to pull in. And we're going quick enough right now to just outrun him. Keep looking ahead of us, however. Because I don't want to run into the head-on with someone that I can't really dodge. F-14 is just going to sling all his missiles at us. I can't really fault him because we are going to do the same later on. While outrunning everyone, we are in the clear for now. Just make sure that you keep looking around. But in a furball like this, you are basically useless. You can't turn for anyone. You don't have a quick and easy to use gun. So your impact in these team fights is very minimal, unless of course you come from a blind angle. They don't see you in general, they're just bad, and you can just sling all your missiles out in like 15 seconds and you get 6 kills. Sure, it's able to do that, but those scenarios don't happen very often. Very often, once you come in, the game is decided, and you can tell right now I'm just on the defensive all the time. In the head-on, from the deflections, from behind, there's always someone going for us. And the fact that I have very good acceleration is keeping me alive, but I need to be careful that I don't slam on that elevator too hard, because I'm gonna lose too much speed and I will become a sitting duck. Right now it's 3v3, I have 2 of them on me, and the Su-22 is getting shot at. He's gonna shoot missiles at us, and I don't want to pull into the Su-22, I want to get him on R6, so that my teammate can shoot at them. But looking in hindsight, what it's going to do is it's going to allow my team to get shot down because they are not aware of their surroundings. I gave them the 6 of the Su-22, they took it, but they took it so willingly that they stopped looking behind them and it got them killed. Is it my fault? Not really. But looking in hindsight, I definitely could have approached that a little bit differently. Now we have an Su-22 on the 6, the MiG-21 breaks off, which is fantastic. But for now, the main issue is I have 2 countermeasures. And depending on the missiles that they have left, and depending on what Su-22 variant that is, because it was a little bit too hectic, I wasn't actually able to see it. I'm just hoping that he's going to shoot them off at range, and he does, and then he breaks off, which is, it might be a feint, just like they do in real life nowadays. But I need to take this. I'm going to need to take the dogfight with the F4J. The F4J is a fight that I can win pretty handily in a dogfight if he actually sends it. If he doesn't, however, I will be susceptible to be boom and zoomed basically forever. I see the missile coming in. I'm gonna notch it. I'm gonna turn out. MiG-27 rips in the background. He was actually coming back for us. Very lucky that he ripped. We turn inside of the F4J. We go up and over his nose and he actually breaks off. And this is a problem. Why? Because look at my speed. I'm only going 560 right now. He's definitely going a lot quicker. He's probably going 9, maybe 1000. And he is simply going to extend away. And this is what I mean. Listen to that. It sounds like he's directly next to us. That's the F4J in front of us. That other jet that you hear, that is the F4J. Now, the only reason I am gonna chase this guy, normally I probably would have gave him a little bit of an off angle, allow him to engage us, but he's flying directly into the map border. So he is forced to turn any second now, and we are going to start catching him very, very slowly. And a trick that you can use to catch people in the MiG-23 or in the MiG-21, sorry, go to like 1 or 2 kilometers. Your IS rip speed is going to be a lot lower, and you are going to be relatively a lot quicker. You are airframe limited, not engine limited, which means that if you get a little bit of altitude, you are going to be hauling ass. And now we go up and over. We have to turn around. It was a little bit too late with that because I wasn't sure where the map border was exactly, and I don't want to turn in front of him. But I have 4 missiles left. He's the only guy over here, so I'm just going to shoot these missiles so that this guy is going to be as slow as possible. I miss an absolute easy shot. This is the second game I did in it, and you can tell that, well, I have no idea where this gun goes anymore. And I'm just trying to dogfight this guy. I'm trying to stay outside of his nose. The issue is he's going to be much quicker than us again. And if he breaks off at any point here, yep, there he goes. I need to do another 180, and he is going to end up outrunning us yet again. Am I playing this optimally? Definitely not. But once people are in the dogfight, mostly I'm used to them actually sticking it. So I was sending it a little bit too hard. And again, I'm just going to shoot all my missiles off. I want him to go as slow as possible. He needs to cut those afterburners. He needs to turn. And that's going to allow me to reel him in very, very easily. There we go. Shoot him down. And then we land and repair, rearm. I took full flares instead of mixed. And I took 20 minutes of fuel, because it was only the Su-22 left, but the Su-22 kept running back to the airfield. So I decided I'm gonna start killing the AI, I'm gonna kill the CL-13s, the AA, the artillery, and I'm going to invite him into going for the base again, and he does. He does go for the base, and now he probably thinks I'm RTB or something, I'm not entirely sure, but I try to kill as many ground units, air units, just AI in general as possible. And by doing so, I got him to come out of the airfield. And at this range, with about 5 missiles left, I should be completely golden. He's not paying attention, and he gets missiled out of the air. And here we are again, above everyone at high altitude, looking for someone to pounce on. 104 on our right, however, and I'm gonna switch on over to him because I do not want AIM-9Ls directly on my 6. I don't know if it's an AIM-9L, but I'm going to count on it, and I do a little bit of a brain fart because I completely forget that I have flares and I try to use my missile. In the end, that's what actually saved me. I don't know what I was thinking right there, looking back at it. I have no reason, I'm not trying to bullshit you out of it. I was just thinking, I'm gonna use this missile as a flare, as well as use a missile for potentially hitting him if he doesn't have flares. However, if he shoots an head-on, then he's gonna have flares, you know. Little bit of a brain fart, but you know, sometimes those happen to all of us. Start off the game with a fat 2 times, and we're gonna dive straight in. MiG-27 is really not an issue, and I'm gonna extend on for the F5 and see if I can maybe get a head on him. I pre-flare for the guy on my 6. I'm not able to get the shot in right there. Pre-flaring for exactly that. Luckily I did, so he wasn't able to shoot instantly. Gave us a little bit of time, and we flare the second one because we are actually paying attention. Now that's going to be out of range. I just flare once just to be safe, but I was pretty confident that that was never going to reach us. Missile blows up right below us, behind us. Good thing I flared it in the end. Very close. So it's a good thing that we actually flared. And then something appears behind us. It's a J7E. And let me tell you, if they're on your 6, you just can't do anything. And the thing I'm trying to do right now, I'm trying to loop back over to my team. Harrier is coming in, as well as the A10, and sure, they won't have the most amount of game presence. They're still teammates, and you can still use them. J7E is on our 6, and I want him to keep going for me. I'm gonna turn slightly, just waiting for the MiG-27 to get a little bit more distance between us. And I want to start hammering it in a second here. I just wanted to get a little bit more of distance, and the second I started to turn, he also breaks off. So now I'm forced to again run somewhere on the map. I'm near an A10 now. That might be the reason why he broke off. But I wanted to start dogfighting the J7E. Unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. So we fly towards the middle of the map, and let's forward right into that. The J7 turned back into the middle of the map. The F5A is somewhere here, so we might have a little bit of a fight on our hand. Right now I don't know where the F5 is. I'm a little bit lost. I need to find him. He just killed an AI. So that means that he is definitely close. I need to know where he is. He still has A9Ls, A9Js, I'm sorry. I need to make absolutely sure that he isn't behind us. And there he is. I'm gonna try to shoot the missile off. I still have 3 left. If it does reach him, then we are good. But he does have flares. And I'm not gonna dogfight this guy momentarily because I'm going a lot quicker than him. But that's also going to absolutely solidify his position on my 6. So for now, I'm gonna extend out. And I will start turning into my team. I'm gonna be dragging this guy in. I'm gonna keep him very much occupied. And he's gonna go into a 3v1 right here. He's almost forced to break off. If he does that, I will go after him. And I will catch him. And then these other 2 guys on my 6 will catch him too. Shooting that on, he breaks off. I go into the wrong way to recommit. But no big issue. Because the Harrier is now going to dogfight him. So I'm gonna send it after him. Because I want to kill him right now. So we go up after him. We get a hit. And then he stalls in front of us. We hold the trigger down. And down goes the F5. We then go RTB. And in the time we go RTB, we hope that our teammate, of course, stays next to us. We're gonna fly over there, and in the time that we land, both my teammates manage to die. And then, so after we land, we go and change our loadout, mostly for the standard flares, because they don't have any radar missiles, or at least not any good ones. So we take back off. I'm taking off. I don't hear anyone, and I just noticed that the F-104 is like 15 kilometers away. I don't know where the other guy is, but we're taking off. And then suddenly, we only hear him at like 2 kilometers. I flare, I drop my afterburner, but it doesn't matter. This guy with his absolute giga brain is also going to compress into the ground, so if that missile had missed, then he would have thrown the match. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.